So we're back again. Seen some of the videos, went through San Andreas. It was a great trip. I really enjoyed it. Only there for 3 days though. So it wasn't really enough to see everything that I wanted to see, but everything that I needed to see definitely got accomplished. The nightlife, the restaurants, the beaches. Got to see a little bit of Johnny K and El Guardia. I mean, these are two of the most primal spots for tourists. Is their sandbars, their beaches, their islands that are just a little ways off the coast. The biggest problem with San Andreas was the development of tourism. As far as it goes, if you're anywhere outside the downtown area, transportation is practically non-existent. There's no yellow pages for taxis or cabs. In Cartagena, they have the InDriver app. That's non-existent in San Andreas Island as well. So you really have to be either in the downtown area or where you're planning on booking for your stay. You need to plan ahead. You need to contact them, ask them if they have taxi services, ask them if they have a personal driver, someone that can be contacted late at night or early in the morning to help you achieve the things that you want to do. Because ultimately, my first day there, or the first 24 hours there, I felt like I was almost trapped in my Airbnb room because, like I said, taxis are not driving up and down the road regularly, but the island only takes 45 minutes to circumvent. So those are a few things that are a little stressful about it. What I suggest is renting a car or a scooter. You'll see those everywhere on the road. The big 4x4 all-terrain vehicles, you'll see those everywhere as well. But the motos, of course, are more affordable. I was able to get mine for 120,000 mil pesos for 24 hours. And it's a 24 hours from whenever you come and get it, whether it be 9 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or 10 o'clock at night, 24 hours. But, excuse me. But there are other opportunities and other places that you can go, possibly find better rates if you're renting it for an extended period of time. But once again, you have to be there early because San Andreas Island is very small, so inventory is very small, and it doesn't take long for the entire island to become overpopulated, for the roadways to start feeling congested. All right, so these are a few things. Now, it's not necessary to stay in Central just because you might be afraid of what your transportation opportunities might be, because Central is really only a few square blocks and the rest of the island is very rural, very rustic. So you want to definitely be able to see some of the sights. That's why I suggest getting a moto, even if it's for 24 hours, because you'll make it around the whole island in probably about 2 to 3 hours. If you're actually stopping, sightseeing, checking out the botanical garden, as I showed you, that took about 45 minutes to an hour to make it all the way around. El Mirador, if you want to check out some of the sites, you can see Johnny K and El Guardia from there. Then you also have the Suplador, which is the geyser in the ground. So there's a few pit stops that you'll definitely want to make. You'll want to catch yourself in front of the few I love San Andreas signs that, are scattered throughout the city. And then you'll also want to take a look at, just how the locals are living. What are they doing? Now, when it comes to food, food's hard. You gotta plan ahead for food. You might even want to buy lunch and dinner at the same time because if you're anywhere outside the central area, restaurants are non-existent after about sunset. You might find one here or there, or you'll see a lot of corner stores, but they're not restaurants. They're not restaurants, which is kind of surprising because the people, locals and tourists alike, stay up extremely late. So, I don't know. I didn't feel that the island was not tourist friendly, but that definitely isn't their main focus. So I don't know where their main source of income necessarily comes from. It's possibly fishing or the boating expeditions that they do, or some other major export that they must be having. But tourism brings in a lot of dollars, but they're not readily prepared for the type of tourists that visit places like Paris, Cartagena, Santiago, Chile, these type of well-known tourist spots. San Andreas is well known, but it's more well known for the locals of Colombia because it is still a territory of Colombia, although it is about 2 hours away by flight. So this is where the locals go to vacation. They take their time, their money to plan out vacations to San Andreas Island and hang out there. But what I did enjoy about it was the trilingualness of the island. They speak a French patois or a British patois, and no, they speak a British Creole, they speak Spanish, and most of them know how to speak English, even if it's a little broken. But it definitely assists you when you come from a place from many of the cities in Colombia. Finding someone to speak English is practically non-existent. You have to really search for it for a long time. So this was kind of refreshing. This was definitely refreshing. And what makes up for everything is when you finally get to go to the islands and see that type of water, that crystal blue water. Each island you stay for about an hour and a half, not longer than that. The other 30 minutes you might be waiting on your boat to come back. But please don't miss your boat. Don't miss your boat. You don't want to be stuck on the island all day. The magic quickly evaporates from the entire scene. So make sure you're punctual. Make sure you're watching your clock. Make sure you're everywhere 10 minutes ahead of time. That's the biggest thing, making sure. Alright, so what's the next part to it? Is Cartagena more expensive than San Andreas? No. San Andreas is more expensive than Cartagena. 100% hands down, from the taxi cabs to gas to food to activities. It's all the way around. Now, could it be more comparable to Boca Grande or La Guita? Yeah, absolutely. But it's the whole island in this situation. In this case, it's the whole island. Whereas in Cartagena, you can still go to Daniel Lemaitre, you can still go to Paseo Boulevard, you can get outside of Centro and find, bargains, where locals eat. In all of San Andreas, it's like everyone cooks in their own house. The restaurants that are out there are only open for a couple hours throughout the day, and that's it. So things are expensive because they're trying to get it in when they can, as fast as they can, so they can be back out again, just hanging out, chilling, enjoying life. So that's why I say it's definitely a tourist area, but the locals are not necessarily in the tourist industry or hospitality industry when it comes to catering to your needs, your wants, your desires. Now there's some resorts, there's a few hotels that are going to provide you with what you want, but even those things are only within reason, only as far as the capabilities of the hotel or Airbnb host that you have is as far as you can stretch your wants and desires. So those are awesome. Those are some things to keep in mind as well. Now, should you avoid the island? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You shouldn't avoid the island. But you should have a game plan before you get there. It will save you from having the wool put over your eyes, because once it's on, it's too late. And then you'll only be counting down the days for when your flight is off the island, which you need to get there early. I missed the flight. No taxi cab existent. The taxi that dropped me off 2 hours before never made it back, and I missed my flight. I had to buy another ticket for the next day at the same time, because this island does not have planes coming in and out at all hours of the day and night. Yeah, they had some red eyes, They were about 3 times the price that I paid for my original ticket. So I didn't do it. But it almost cost me our next video, Casa en la Agua, because my spots were almost taken due to the missed flight. So please do practice extreme caution when traveling to San Andreas. You're gonna need it.